All right, I'm Tanner Chester.
And I'm Cameron Evans, and this is Stuck Out, where we look into the box from the outside. Now, today we're going to be talking about the recent so-called gunshot that happened yesterday, which was pretty interesting. Did you hear about it?
Yeah, so I was coming back from lacrosse practice, and I was looking at my Snapchat stories, and I did notice someone post on their story, explaining kind of, what they heard, because they were like, did anyone else hear that? And I was kind of confused, and so I kind of asked him about it, and he said, yeah, that there allegedly, there was a gunshot. Was it right outside of Neighbor, right?
It sounded like it. It almost sounded like an echo, so I'm not really sure if it was close by or far away.
Because I know that you live in Neighbor, right? And so
I do.
And so were you freaking out when you heard the gunshot?
Well, I also play lacrosse, so I got back to my room, and I was sitting back, and then I just heard it. It almost sounded like thunder, so that's what made me think it was like maybe like a firecracker in like a pot. I don't know. It just didn't sound like an actual gunshot. I wasn't really sure or positive on it, but it definitely made me freak out.
Did everyone kind of freak? Everyone open their door and peek out?
I saw a couple people peek their heads
what
out
the?
and, look around did anybody else see that? Or is that just me? I was hoping Danny, my RA, was gonna tell us it's all right, but that didn't really
Nothing
happen.
happened. What time? So it was about 11:50 maybe?
I think so.
Maybe 12.
11:50. Yeah.
Did it sound like it was on campus, or was it
no, not really. It almost sounded like an echo.
Okay. So
I wasn't really sure if that was
Because I know thunder doesn't really echo too much. It's just one, strike.
Just try,
yeah. That's crazy. Wait, so when you heard it, what was going through your mind? Were you say it actually was a gunshot and it was on campus, do you even know where to go?
At that point, not really. I was thinking to myself, I'm like, if he comes into the room, into Neighbor, then I'm going to be hauling, my butt off out the window.
Oh, yeah. I'm going straight through the window, and I'm leaving.
Yeah. I'm tying some bed sheets. I don't want to be the loose link here, and I'm running away.
So
we got some heroes on Neighbor Hall. I'm pretty sure will gladly step up, but I'm not one of them.
Yeah, I'll just grab the bed frame and just start sprinting at him.
Oh, yeah.
So, have you ever,
experienced
been trained, I guess, to, what to do if there's a gunshot, maybe near Neighbor, maybe even inside of Neighbor, anything at all?
I haven't been trained in Neighbor, but I have been trained in my old high school, Eagle Valley.
Yeah.
And so it's basically almost defend yourself. You want to haul butts in the other direction, and then if he comes near you, just grab objects, heavy objects, and just start chucking them.
Yeah. I mean, for me, at least when I was in school, at high school, I felt like what they taught us to do was worse, than anything else possible, because, they tell the teachers to, run, lock the doors, put all the blinds down, put all of the kids in one corner and shield them.
Yeah, I don't know if that's effective.
Yeah.
Because I don't think the so-called shooter would be well, maybe they called off school today. All right, well, I missed.
Honestly, and more times than not, it's someone in the school.
Yeah.
So obviously they know what to do, and they know how to get in the classrooms if they do that stuff, so.
Exactly, and they do have a weapon on them. So
yeah.
I think it's gonna.
And if that ever happened, thankfully it's never happened to me, but my parents always told me to just get out of the window, just break the window, get out of the school.
Yeah, that's the things that they were teaching us. They were if you're close to a window, crack that baby open.
Yeah,
and sprint.
Yeah. And even in college, we haven't really gotten any.
Into it.
No, I haven't heard any teachers or anything talk about what we would do if said thing happened. If a shooter came in. They haven't really gave us any information, and I don't know. I feel like it'd be more chaotic. Just because they haven't,
It would definitely be more. There would definitely be some people running into each other. It would.
Oh yeah, it just
so insane.
People would be running out of class. I don't know. I don't know. Do you feel like Marion should maybe kind of cover that topic over, just because it's it's a pretty big topic now.
It's a pretty prominent. I think there was I want to say over 3 school shooters in the past year. I think maybe more. I'm not too positive.
Yeah.
But, I feel like now that it's more of it happens more often than you would think.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ever since, is it Sandy?
I don't know, but yeah, I know what you're talking about.
The high school that like got shot up back in like 1990, 1980.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then it just didn't happen like ever, and for some random reason, it's popping.
It's
now.
happening up. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I think the internet has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
Definitely a lot of bullying in the internet and having people, just kind of realize how really bad it is. But yeah, did you see that one PSA announcement of the public service announcement of that little commercial of the people?
Oh,
the back to school thing,
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought it was like a Staples commercial, and then it kind of just turned into something way more serious, and I was like, oh, no. I'm like, that's something that, like, people actually have to fear about when they come to school.
I honestly thought the commercial was like a joke at first, just because of, like, honestly, I didn't think, because it was really bad, and I really didn't think it was kind of like serious at the beginning, all until the very end, how it was more of like a public service announcement. But yeah, that's just really messed up. I don't understand.
Those who are unaware of the commercial, so basically, they had a back to school, like, I have a new backpack.
Like one of those like commercials that are always like, back to school, get your pencils and back,
And then it turned into like protecting yourself from a school shooter, like this sock makes a great Band-Aid when somebody gets shot in the knee.
Yeah.
Which was a bit aggressive, but, send the right message.
Yeah, that definitely sent them. It sent that message clear to me, at least,
Actually, my high school had a bomb threat.
Okay. Those were also really popular for some reason, too.
Those?
When, the like, fire alarm just, like, went off real quick.
No, somebody's taking a photo.
Oh, okay.
We almost had to do what we were just talking about anyway.
Yeah.
So we had a bomb threat. I think it was close to Halloween, and it happened 4 years in a row.
On like the same.
On the same day.
Yeah,
it was
of course.
An anonymous call that there was a bomb threat, and obviously you're not going to be like, all right, it's a prank, because it's not really something to joke about.
Yeah, who does that?
And at the time, I think I was in my science class, and we didn't really worry about it.
Yeah.
Like, it
was just kind of like a thing that happens, and you're just
like 20 minutes. People were like standing around the hallways.
Yeah.
We went to our class and we're like, hey, teacher,
I would
what's
run.
going on?
I would run. Honestly, I would be out of that building in a second.
We left in like less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people were crying in my class.
Yeah, because, everyone's freaking out. And
yeah.
For some reason, it's... Yeah, when I was back in high school, bomb threats were more often than school shooting threats, for me at least. Yeah. We had a total, at least when I was because all the way up from freshman year to junior year, nothing really happened, everything was fine, all the way until like at the end of junior year and then senior year, people, tried to be funny and freak out, everyone in high school, and like they would post, stupid things on like their stories, like, oh, don't come to school tomorrow, it's...
Yeah, or like wear red.
Yeah,
which was completely messed up.
Yeah, I don't understand why that epidemic has been like that since, like...
Yeah, like it was never something to just toss out for just...
Yeah.
Just giggles. I don't know.
I feel like the internet has a lot to do with that, honestly.
I would
like a huge
have
play.
To agree with that.
A big play, in how... on how people, see it. But, switching news...
I was about to say, let's bring up some news.
Switching news, the turf has been in for about, what, like a week now?
Yeah, very exciting for Marian University.
Yeah, it was really good. First practice on it was really fun. Everyone's, wanting to get on the turf, so the times are pretty bad for us, at least, for lacrosse. We've been, let's see here.
If you guys want to go check out our practices, today it'll be around 10 to 12.
Yeah, 10 to 12 at midnight, so our practice ends at midnight, so yeah, that's great.
And we got one on Thursday that's like 6 to 8.
6 a.m. to 8 a.m., yeah. The times are a little messed up, but I mean, I guess that's what happens when you get, turf, I guess, but...
Everyone wants to play on it.
Apparently, the high school... I forgot what the high school name is, but there's a big S in the middle of the field for the high school's logo.
Okay.
Because they paid for roughly half of it, I was told.
Really?
little more than half. Yeah, they donated a lot of money for that turf. So kudos to them, I guess, right? Thanks for helping us get a turf finally.
Thanks, guys.
Took a while, but at least we got it.
Wait, does your high school have turf or no?
My high school has had turf ever since I could remember, when I was a little kid. So.
Nico Valley, not too prone on sponsorships. We're gonna get a.
Where's Nico Valley?
It is in Naperville.
Naperville, Illinois.
Naperville, Illinois. So McDonald's wanted to sponsor us.
Oh, wow.
They wanted to just put a sponsor up, and build the turf for us.
That's great.
Just put their name, in like a small
like the corner.
Yeah, exactly. We said no. So now we have to do
stubborn.
Very stubborn. We don't like to bow down to the man.
Yeah, Ronald McDonald, right?
Yeah, that Ronald McDonald. I'll tell you something about him. But now we play on like a literal hill. Like really? It's terrible. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, lucky for me, I went to Libertyville High School in Libertyville, Illinois, obviously, and we've had. When I was a freshman there in high school, we had like the very bottom line turf or whatever, the cheapest or whatever. It had a bunch of like little holes in it, and it wasn't the best. And so eventually, they tore down like a second, because it was like our main entire building, and then like a block down the road there was like one like big building. It was like a 2-3-story building. And it had a couple of classrooms in it, but it was vacant because it was just so old and no one used it. Like my parents used that other part of the school for some of their classes too. So they just tore that down. They put out a brand new turf in like a little building there, and it's just great now. So at least we got new turf there. But yeah.
Wow. And now we got new turf.
Yeah, as a great.
Very exciting.
Yeah, it's really good turf. I feel like it'll definitely help us out a lot. Because I remember last year was just a mud pit. Like
really?
Our home games were advantaged to us because we were so used to just every practice. We were just so used to slipping and like every team that would come to Marion and play us would absolutely dread coming here because of how we were the only team in Division III, at least in the Midwest, with grass fields.
Oh wow!
So yeah, and now we switched to turf, and then people aren't going to be scared to play us, I guess, at our own turf because
they can actually move around.
Yeah, and then speaking of that, the grass, I'd say we had 4 or 5 injuries from that grass field of playing games on that. Yeah, there's been so many injuries on that field because of the grass and how slippery it is and muddy. But
I was talking about a recent report for a class. This might be helpful or not, but I was talking about how getting turf might prevent more injuries than grass.
Yeah.
And it disperses your weight, so it'll disperse it, I guess, wide and down.
Yeah, when you step in.
Exactly, because it's got sand underneath.
Yeah,
it's got
I mean,
cement.
it's honestly, for me, it's like a toss-up. Because turf, turf can grab your cleats, right, and twist you around and, make you, break an ankle or something if you step on it funny. But
I mean, I don't really have to worry about that.
Oh, yeah, you're a goalie, so. Switching topics, actually, did you know that It 2 came out? You know what that is?
I did, and I'm going to be honest, I hate scary movies to the core. I saw it.
You saw It 2 already?
I saw it Homecoming. My mom wanted to see it.
Okay.
And so she
that's good.
Dragged me into it. I'm like, I really like clowns, scary movie pop-ups. It's just not my thing.
Yeah.
It's not what I really messed with at that point.
So allegedly, people have been once again dressing up like clowns and scaring people. And remember that whole clown epidemic on how people would always, you'd always see a bunch of videos online of people, freaking out because of these clowns in the middle of the road. But yeah, so there was actually a story on one that the clown was hiding in someone's house for about like a week or 2. The police finally found out.
Are you kidding me?
Yep. And so he was recording, doing bad stuff to the house or whatever, and like the homeowners were really confused on like what was happening. Eventually they did like a little search and they found him, and they actually were gonna do a documentary on him because he was he was the cause of a couple murders, I believe, that happened like a couple weeks prior, and so he was hiding in the house to try to hide, to try to get away. But yeah, they're actually doing a Netflix series documentary on the clown himself, but obviously they're not gonna have the real guy himself. They're gonna have like an actor and like have like a
they're gonna get him from prison, just kind of toss him up on stage.
Might as well be like, go for it,
Yeah, read the script, buddy. Come on, stay on track.
Like, but yeah, I'm actually excited for that.
I'm not. That's a big no
that
for
Netflix
me.
series, or maybe it's a series or a movie, who knows? But that'll definitely be very interesting. When that comes out, we'll definitely have a little review on it. I'll make you watch it so you can talk about it.
Well, I'm gonna have nightmares for about like 4 days. We'll see.
But yeah, I think that should wrap it up, I guess, right? You got anything else? Or?
No, not really.
Awesome. Well, I'm Tanner.
And I'm Cameron, and this has been Stuck Out.
Thanks for listening.
Two damn phones, Babylons can't crack the code. Used to sip out styrofoam, but figured I should stick